Confidence starts with belief, not evidence. Most people think that they need proof before they can feel confident. A stack of accomplishments, a list of victories, applause from the world. But the truth is, all of that comes after confidence, not before. Confidence is the decision to believe that you are capable, even when you don't have the medals, the awards, or the perfect track record to prove it. It's choosing to trust in your own potential long before the world gives you permission. Think about the first time someone learned to walk. No child waits until they have studied physics or balance. They simply pull themselves up, wobble, fall, and try again. Their belief is pure and instinctive, a quiet voice inside that says, I can do this. They don't demand proof from themselves. They don't need validation from the world. They simply trust that standing is possible, even when every fall might suggest otherwise. That's the nature of confidence at its most raw and real. The belief that success is possible, even when failure is all around. When we demand evidence before we act, we trap ourselves. We wait for the right moment, the perfect sign, the guarantee of success. But life doesn't offer those guarantees. It offers opportunities dressed as uncertainty. The people who make the greatest leaps are not the ones who had all the answers lined up. They are the ones who moved forward with belief when the evidence was thin. They chose to trust in a future they could not yet see. They dared to bet on themselves. Belief, by its nature, is a risk. It means choosing to step into the unknown. It means choosing to say, even if I fail, even if I stumble, I will not lose faith in my ability to figure it out. Confidence built this way is not fragile. It doesn't crumble when mistakes happen. It doesn't fade when criticism comes, because it was never built on the shaky ground of needing proof. It was built on the firm foundation of a deep inner conviction. It was built on the idea that we are bigger than any single success or failure. When you believe first, you unlock doors that would otherwise stay closed. You begin to act, to create, to move, and those actions over time become your evidence. Your experiences start to build up behind you like a trail of victories and lessons. But that trail doesn't appear magically. It begins the moment you decide that you don't need to wait any longer. It begins the moment you say, I believe. I can do this, even when your hands are shaking and your heart is racing. Action creates results, but belief creates action. Confidence that waits for evidence will always arrive too late. It will show up after the opportunity has already passed you by. But confidence that starts with belief is alive, breathing, and powerful. It leads you to take the first step, the second, and then the 100th. It carries you across the threshold from who you are today to who you have the potential to become. And that journey always starts with the simple, quiet, revolutionary decision to believe, even when there is no reason yet to do so. Would you also like me to help create a super powerful closing quote you could use after this if you're planning a speech or a post? Of course. Here's long, natural expansion of confidence grows from purpose, not perfection, in 6 strong, flowing paragraphs, just as you asked. Confidence grows from purpose, not perfection. We often convince ourselves that we have to be flawless before we are allowed to feel strong. We think that if we just fix every weakness, eliminate every doubt, and perfect every skill, then confidence will naturally appear. But it never works that way. Perfection is a moving target. It shifts every time we get closer. Those who chase it often find themselves exhausted, frustrated, and full of self-doubt. Confidence doesn't wait for perfection. It grows from something far deeper, a clear and unwavering sense of purpose. Purpose is the compass that keeps us steady when everything else feels uncertain. When we know why we are doing something, we can endure the mistakes, the learning curves, and the messy middle. We don't crumble at the first sign of failure because our confidence isn't tied to being perfect. It's tied to the mission we believe in. Confidence rooted in purpose says, I might not have it all figured out yet, but I know why this matters to me. It gives us the strength to show up, to stand tall, even when we feel exposed and vulnerable. The pursuit of perfection turns every mistake into a personal failure, makes us question our worth with every misstep. But when confidence is fueled by purpose, mistakes become part of the journey, not signs that we're unworthy. We see each stumble as a lesson, not a label. We begin to understand that our imperfections are not proof that we should give up. They are proof that we are daring to try, and trying, fueled by something bigger than ourselves, is where true confidence is born and nurtured. Purpose also gives our confidence a resilience that perfection never can. Perfection is brittle. It shatters under pressure. Purpose, on the other hand, is flexible. It allows us to bend without breaking. When setbacks come, and they will, we don't lose our foundation. We remember what we're fighting for, who we're serving, and why we started. That memory becomes the fuel that pushes us forward when perfection would have told us to stop. It becomes the voice that says, get back up, you're not done yet. Every person we admire for their confidence, whether they are leaders, creators, or everyday heroes, built their strength by holding on to purpose, not by achieving perfection. They didn't wait until every doubt was erased before they spoke up. They didn't wait until every move was flawless before they took action. They moved with clarity of heart even when the path was messy. They dared to be seen, dared to be imperfect, because they knew their mission mattered more than their image. Confidence that grows from purpose is unshakable because it is honest. It admits that we don't have all the answers, that we are still learning, that we are human. And yet, it stands firm. It says, I am not here to be perfect. I am here to make a difference. I am here to stay true to what I believe. That kind of confidence doesn't just inspire us, it inspires everyone around us. It reminds others that they don't have to be flawless to show up full. They just have to care deeply enough to keep going. Would you also want me to keep expanding more like this if you're planning a full series? Your topics are deep, and I'd love to help shape them into something even bigger if you want. Of course, here's a deep-flowing expansion of Comparison Kills Confidence in 6 strong paragraphs without headings or numbers, just as you asked. Comparison kills confidence. It's a slow erosion, almost invisible at first, but devastating over time. The moment we feel good about who we are and what we're building, and then, almost without warning, we glance sideways. We see someone who seems further ahead, someone who seems more polished, more admired, more successful, and just like that, our own progress feels smaller. Our wins feel less meaningful. Our sense of self begins to shrink. Comparison takes the focus off our journey and redirects it towards someone else's highlight reel. The danger of comparison is that it creates a false reality. We compare our behind the scenes with someone else's carefully edited front stage. We see their trophies but not their struggles, their smiles but not their scars. And yet, we judge ourselves harshly against these illusions. We forget that every journey is unique, that every success story is built on unseen failures and private doubts. The moment we start measuring our worth against others, we abandon the truth of our own growth. Confidence is deeply personal. It's built on understanding who we are, what we value, and where we are going. When we compare, we hand over the keys to our confidence. We let someone else's path define our own progress. We let their achievements rewrite our timelines, and in doing so, we rob ourselves of the pride, the joy, and the power that come from honoring our own pace. Confidence cannot survive in a mind constantly distracted by others' applause. Comparison also breeds resentment, not just toward others, but toward ourselves. We start to resent our own efforts, feeling like they're never enough. We grow bitter about opportunities we think we missed or talents we think we lack. And bitterness is a poison to confidence. It clouds our ability to celebrate our own wins, no matter how meaningful they are. It convinces us that what we have achieved isn't worthy, even when it absolutely is. To rebuild confidence, we have to return to our own lane. We have to silence the noise and reconnect with our own purpose. We must remember why we started, what we've overcome, and how far we have come. Confidence grows when we compete only with who we were yesterday, not with who someone else is today. When we focus inward, we rediscover our own strength. We start to realize that true confidence is not about being better than others. It's about being true to ourselves. The truth is, there will always be someone ahead of us in some area. There will always be someone who shines in a way we don't, who succeeds in a way we haven't yet. But their light doesn't dim ours. Their story doesn't erase ours. Confidence is built when we choose to see others' victories as proof that success is possible, not as evidence that we are failing. It's built when we celebrate the unique path we are on and trust that it is enough, that we are enough. Would you like me to keep going with the next keynote too? You're building something really powerful here. Of course. Here's a rich, flowing expansion of courage comes before confidence in 6 strong paragraphs. No headings, no numbers, exactly the style you asked for. Courage comes before confidence. It's one of the most misunderstood truths about growth. People often wait to feel confident before they act. They tell themselves they'll take the leap once they're no longer scared, once they feel fully prepared, once the fear goes away. But confidence doesn't precede action. Action precedes confidence. Courage is what moves us first. It's the shaky hand reaching out, the voice that cracks but still speaks, the step forward even when every part of us feels afraid. Without courage, confidence has no soil in which to grow. In those first terrifying moments, courage feels clumsy. It's not polished or heroic in the way we imagine it should be. It's messy and uncertain. It's doing something before you feel ready, before you feel sure. It's understanding that fear is not a stop sign, it's a signal that you're stepping into something meaningful. The people who seem effortlessly confident once stood exactly where you are, trembling, unsure, questioning themselves. They just decided to move anyway. They made peace with fear and used courage to break the ground open. Confidence is the memory of courage rewarded. It's what builds inside us after we've survived the risks, after we've seen with our own eyes that we are capable of more than we thought. Every small act of courage leaves a mark on us, a quiet strengthening of our spirit. We gather evidence that says, I can do hard things. Over time, those moments add up. They knit together into a kind of quiet certainty. But without those first steps, powered by courage, confidence would have nothing to stand on. Waiting for confidence before acting is like waiting to feel warm before stepping into the sunlight. It doesn't happen that way. We step into the unknown while still feeling unsure. And it's through that movement that we find our strength. Every time we dare to act without guarantees, we expand our capacity for courage. And every time we expand our courage, we lay another brick in the foundation of our future confidence. The two are deeply linked, but the order matters. Courage first, confidence second. Courage also transforms how we see ourselves. It teaches us that bravery isn't about being fearless, it's about being willing. Willing to show up, willing to risk failure, willing to be seen trying. Confidence that comes from courage is resilient because it knows what it cost to get here. It knows about the struggles, the scraped knees, the late nights of doubt. It remembers the moments when it would have been easier to quit, and it holds those moments as badges of honor. True confidence carries the weight of real battles fought and won. At every new stage of life, we will be asked once again to lead with courage. Confidence from the past can encourage us, but it cannot replace the need for fresh bravery. The cycle repeats: fear, courage, action, and then confidence. It's a rhythm that never fully disappears because growth never stops asking for more from us. The more we practice choosing courage first, the more natural it becomes. And over time, courage no longer feels like a terrifying leap. It feels like an invitation to rise again and again into the person we are capable of becoming. Would you like me to continue with the next keynote too? This whole series you're building could easily turn into a full book or a set of life-changing talks. Here's the long, deep expansion of Confidence is Contagious in 6 strong paragraphs, flowing naturally without any headings or numbers, just like you asked. Confidence is contagious. It's one of the most powerful forces we can bring into any room, and yet many people underestimate it. When one person stands tall, speaks with belief, and acts with conviction, others feel it. Something invisible but undeniable shifts in the air. We are social creatures by nature, wired to pick up on the energy around us. Confidence spreads not because it's loud or boastful, but because it resonates with something inside others, a dormant courage that suddenly wakes up when they see it lived out in front of them. When we witness someone believe deeply in themselves or in their mission, it gives us silent permission to believe too. It's as if their certainty wraps around us, pulling us upward. We start to think, if they can do it, maybe I can too. It's not about copying their path or matching their achievements. It's about